Welcome back to Pillars of Eternity, the nutshell version. Today we're going to cover Act 3, which in the game is really Act 3 and 4, but from a classic storytelling perspective, it's all really Act 3. It's time for us to finally attend that animancy hearing at the Duke's palace, where we can hopefully warn the Duke about what Theos and the Leaden Key have been up to, what with the stealing of unborn souls and the sabotaging animancy experiments and such. In a shocking turn of events that is not that shocking if you've been paying attention, Theos shows up, possesses the key Animancer witness, and uses his body to murder the Duke in front of everyone.
No, wait!
Stop this at once!
The largely Mogren-worshipping people of Defiance Bay react in a way that is also not that shocking if you've been paying attention, which is to say they immediately set fire to every building in the city that Animancers have ever set foot in. While the city burns, we rush to Hadrut House because we want to check in with the amazing Lady Webb. On the way, we have yet another past life vision. I need to back up and fill in a little bit of a thread that's been woven throughout the game so far via these fragmented visions. When your ancient Ingwithan past life was a missionary for Theos, so was a woman named Yovara Xensios, with whom you had a close relationship of your choosing. But she later left and started preaching what Theos considered heresy. Anyway, we get to Lady Webb's house and she is super dead. But since we're a watcher, we can touch the corpse and rifle through some of her memories. We see Theos, her ex-lover apparently, arriving at her place and speaking to her in a strangely gentle way.
You came closer than most.
And then we see him jamming a blade into her chest. However, remember that Lady Webb is psychic, and so through secondhand mind rifling, we're able to grasp one small fact about Theos' plans. He's heading to Twin Elms. So off we go. Twin Elms is in an area largely controlled by the Glanfathan tribes, the type of people who slaughtered our entire caravan at the very beginning for trespassing on Ingwithan ruins. But we managed to make nice with a local leader, so they let us into more private areas of the city, the most important of which is Ter Evron, a place where people can speak to the gods. We talk with two Delangon or Dryad-type people who are able to tell us where Theos went, to some very old Ingwithan ruins. But he destroyed the entrance he used, so the only way to get there now is by jumping into a pit that is literally designed to kill people who hit the bottom. If we're going to survive, we have to invoke some divine intervention. Somewhere in the midst of all this, we've now learned that Theos eventually sent us after our friend Yovara. Our job was to talk her into fleeing to the apparent safety of another city, where Theos trapped her and tortured her to death. Cool. Speaking of Leaden Key drama, Aloth now has a whole new confession to make to us.
There's something I need to tell you.
When he joined us in Gilded Vale, it was because he suspected we were on the trail of the Leaden Key, and he was looking to find them too, because his superior in the organization had failed to contact him. Yep, he was a member of the Leaden Key all along. He'd joined because he hated animancy after a horrible experience with it in school, and also to escape his father, who abused him so violently it caused one of his past lives to wake up and intervene. But now that he knows the Leaden Key is responsible for the Hollowborn, he's done with him forever and ready to follow you instead. You can either forgive him or banish him, but come on, look at that face. And he's such an impossibly adorable mix of arrogant and bashful, and he's such a nerd, and Anyway, we enter Ter Evron and activate these shrines where people can supplicate the gods. I recommend playing through every god quest before picking one because there is so much good lore. If you do only two, pick the god your character vibes with most, plus Remergon, the beast of winter, god of entropy. Just trust me on this one. Then you choose your favorite god to make a deal with. For Valdis, Death, godlike priestess of the death god, it's a double no-brainer. Of course, she goes immediately to the shrine of Bareth and promises that she will do a little quest and also return all the stolen unborn souls to the wheel for future reincarnation, if Bareth will provide assistance in getting to the bottom of that pit. I'm going to show the type of assistance Bareth provides because if you played Deadfire, this is going to look really familiar. Basically, Bareth instructs some souls that wander the burial isle to flock to Valdis. Their soul energy allows Valdis and her friends to control their fall into the pit so they can land lightly at the bottom.
Everyone all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
Then we fight a million ghosts and a couple of dragons. We find the tortured, trapped soul of Yovara. who tells us that the heresy she died for was actually the truth, that the ancient Engwithans used highly advanced animancy and an absolute crap ton of soul energy to create the gods. Pallegina is thrilled to hear this because she has always frickin' hated the gods.
I stopped asking those questions long ago. It is enough to care for those we love with the time we have in this life.
Adair and Aloth, who have spent much of their lives in abject adoration of and or service to these gods, are both crushed. At long last, we catch up with Theos, who has been collecting all these unborn souls in an attempt to re-empower his patron Woedica so she can once again rule the gods and impose order. He argues his side of things, which is really quite compelling. In the days of Engwith, people committed atrocities in the name of entirely non-existent gods, and so the Engwithans had tried to discover via animancy who, if anyone, was the true creator. Their studies found nothing, and so they decided to design a pantheon everyone could agree on, one that would actually exist and manifest so people who needed to believe in gods could stop making stuff up. If this was going to work, they had to hide the secret of where these gods came from, and so the Leaden Key was born, to suppress animancy, to hide the Engwithan ruins, and yes, even to have one of their gods drop a moon on ancient Engwith so no one would be left alive who remembered. Only Theos was allowed by Woedica to keep all his memories so he could organize the Leaden Key across the generations. Cool motive, still genocide, so we kill him. This battle is like White March level brutal, but if you finish it, you get lots of cool epilogue slides that vary hugely depending on all your choices during the game. If you can't defeat Theos, you can actually still import your character into Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, with all your choices intact, using the autosave that happens right before that final battle. So that was Pillars of Eternity, the nutshell version. Avowed comes out February 18th, as far as we know, and I won't have time to finish my Deadfire nutshell before then, but I'll be chipping away at it anyway, because this has been really fun. Leave me a comment letting me know what you liked.
Gelade. Well done.
Because that's the only payment I get. See you next time on, hopefully, Deadfire, the nutshell version.